Despite the combat sports world clamoring for a blockbuster super fight between Jon Jones and Alex Pereira, UFC President Dana White appears to have firmly shut the door on the idea. After reclaiming the UFC light heavyweight title in his October rematch with Magomed Ankalaev, Pereira wasted no time outlining his ambitions. Poatan immediately called for a move up to heavyweight to face Jon Jones in what many believe could be one of the biggest fights in MMA history. At the time, Jones, who had previously announced his retirement after declining a heavyweight title unification bout with interim champion Tom Aspinall, seemed intrigued. In typical Jones fashion, he entertained the idea publicly, with both fighters even hinting at a possible showdown at the UFC's rumored White House event in June. However, momentum around the fight has since evaporated. Pereira recently revealed that discussions with UFC leadership have not been encouraging, confirming he will not feature on the White House card. That setback was followed by an even more damaging revelation this week, when Jones claimed that Dana White himself has no interest in making the fight happen. While fans may be disappointed, White's stance is difficult to argue against. Why should Jones be rewarded with a legacy-defining super fight after years of inactivity, retirement talk, and, most importantly, his continued refusal to face Aspinall? Jones reportedly accepted the fight before backing away, leaving the heavyweight division in limbo. At this stage, Jones should not be allowed to fight anyone under the UFC banner unless he agrees to face Aspinall, assuming the interim champion successfully defends his belt in a likely rematch with Cyril Gane. Anything else undermines the integrity of the division. Some fans argue that Jones versus Pereira doesn't need a title attached. But realistically, that scenario is unlikely. Jones' competitive nature and his insistence on legacy makes it hard to imagine him stepping into the octagon without gold on the line. Others claim it's now or never. But if Jones and Pereira aren't willing or able to earn the fight by beating the top contenders in front of them, perhaps they're not as untouchable as they're made out to be. Dana White often draws criticism, sometimes deservedly so. But in this case, his position is the right one. The UFC cannot continue bending over backwards for a fighter who has repeatedly stalled an entire division. But if there are consequences for Jones' recent actions, it's about time he faced them to for Jones' future. It's increasingly difficult to see him returning to MMA at all. Now 38, he earns substantial income outside the octagon and appears heavily involved with dirty boxing. A return to the UFC seems unlikely. Could he compete elsewhere? Possibly. A wrestling match, such as the one recently suggested by Daniel Cormier, might appeal to him. But another UFC fight? That feels further away than ever.